Hi there, welcome back to Mini Gnomes version 2 with braids. Last time we showed you how to make this wonderful little guy who has beard and mustache and hat. And this time we're going to work on a Gnome with no beard and braids. So, once again, we're going to open up our little kit. We have 2 felting needles. And if you pull one out and look at it carefully, you will see that it is triangular on the end and very pointy. And it has little barbs. And it is very, very sharp. If you stick yourself with it, it's going to hurt. And it's going to bleed for a while because it makes a triangular hole. You're going to have one little ball for your head. This one is our medium skin tone. We also have a light skin tone and a dark skin tone available. This one, because it's medium skin tone, comes with some dark hair. You can request white bleached hair, or you can request dark hair. I've got black, I've got this tone of dark, I've got a couple of grays that are somewhere in between. And this one comes with a little bit of beige fleece. That will be your nose. And we are going to very, very, very tightly wrap that up into a little ball. The tighter you wrap it, the less felting you have to do. So I am going to start with my felting needle and poke gently down into the ball. Ow! That was my finger, not the ball. I'm going to poke gently down into the ball to get it to stay in place. You want to do this on a table, maybe with some sort of padding underneath it to protect your table. Oh, look, I am bleeding all over this one. I guess she's staying at the shop. Love and You Designs is located at 611 Dale Street in St. Paul, Minnesota. You can order the kits online at loveandyou.com. Look for Mini Gnome kits. That's Gnome. So I am poking her nose until it arrives at the size and shape that I want it to be. I want my nose significantly smaller than it is. But it got a little big when I realized that I had poked myself in the finger. If you are going to be needle felting a lot, make sure your tetanus shot is up to date. Because lockjaw is no fun. And often fatal. All right, her nose is fairly firm. It's a little bigger than I had originally planned, But you can see that she has a nose now. Yeah, that is much bigger than I had originally planned. I guess we're going to have to keep poking. I'm sorry for the shaky. I try to keep the table from bumping up against my tripod, but sometimes that just isn't possible. All right. Her nose is going to be bigger. Oh well. All right, so this is what I'm going to use for hair for her. And I am going to pull out, I've got it by either end, and I am going to pull out half of it. And I'm going to decide where I want the top of her head to be. I'm going to cover up that blood spot with her hair. So I'm going to lay it down so that the top edge is up here. And then I am going to felt this wool down in a straight line. Just like you were parting her hair. Now I'm going to take the long end. I need to not put that in my mouth. I'm going to take the long end and fold it over this way. You see how that gives us a nice, fairly full pigtail on that side. I'm going to separate it into, actually, yeah, I'm going to separate it into 3 strands. 1, 2, 3, and I am going to gently braid them, starting with the one at by her nose, over the top and into the middle, over the top and into the middle. Now I grab the bottom one, over the top and into the middle, over the top and into the middle, over the top and into the middle, until the braid is as long as I want it to be, and as fluffy on the end as I want it to be. Okay, when I get to the point where it's as fluffy as I want it to be, where did that go? I'm going to grab a chunk of foam to put underneath it to protect my table. And I am just going to felt the end of that braid together. All right. That is one braid. And now I'm going to do the same thing for the other side. I'm going to lay the long end towards the braid I've already made, and the short end towards her knot ear. And can you see how you can see the edge of the already felted area there? We're going to poke right into that edge to create a part down the center of her head. Now I'm going to pull down this way. And see, we can see that she's got a nice little part right there. And I'm going to turn this one also into a 3-strand braid, though this one has a little less hair than the other side. From the front into the center, back into the center, front into the center, braiding it all the way down until your braid is as long as you want it to be. If you have a friend to hold her head still while you do this, that actually helps. I do not have a friend to help me with that today. And I'm going to felt down the end of her braid so it doesn't come unbraided. If you have a little bit of yarn that you want to tie around the bottoms of her braid, especially if it matches her hat, go for it. Have a fun time with that. My fingers don't do little tiny bows anymore. All right, now we're going to pull out her hat. She has a little purple hat. Whoops. Loosen her up from the board. And we're going to pop her little purple hat on the back of her head. This one I think we're going to leave long, instead of folding it up like we did the last guy. And we're just going to poke down in the front. And notice how I've left a little bit of hair sticking down the front, so it looks like she's got maybe a little bit of a bang. Certainly not like she's as bald as she really is. And now I'm poking the back of her hat down very firmly, because that's what's going to actually hold her weight. And now we have a hat that won't come off if you pull gently. And I am going to pull this down a little more over her nose and poke right into that nose, since we didn't give her eyes. So we want her hat covering her eyes. There we go. And now we have a little girl Gnome. There she is. Little girl Gnome with braids. Thank you so much for joining us today, and I hope you enjoy your little mini gnome kit. Thank you.